TLO, what's pop? We are on Twitch. We are live. But by the time you see this, we might not be. So just leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification bells. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK. Right behind me, you see it. Let me move my head a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Check out the warning. That's my warning. I don't know what's going on in this video, but this is mine. YouTube, I can assure you that I did not say one curse word in this video. And anything that should be blurred out is blurred out. You don't have to trust me. But please, if you go through this whole video, make sure you go through the whole video and don't just guess. You feel me? Anyway, man.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners.
True. Talk to me.
I'm in the Middle East at the start of a month-long journey into one of the most complex conflicts in the world.
I don't think I've seen this.
In this second program, I'll be exploring the state of Israel, meeting ordinary people who have lost loved ones.
They are terrorists.
The God will revenge your blood. That's what is that.
And seeing firsthand how the Jewish state deals with the enemy at its gates.
It's got tear gas back at us.
But now I'm on my way to Gaza, seen by many as the front line between Islam and the West. I'll be meeting with the militant factions determined to destroy Israel.
Assalamu alaikum.
We'll also meet the ordinary
I ain't gonna lie, this is a little bit deep, ain't it?
Palestinians caught in the crossfire.
Don't forget my girl is a Christian Palestinian. I'm just watching now.
Behind me is the Gaza Strip. Gaza is one of the most emotive, complex political and military situations on the planet. This tiny piece of land is also home to 1.5 million people who are firmly ruled by its democratically elected government, Hamas. Hamas is also recognized as an international terrorist organization. We're about to cross the border and find out what it's like to live in the Gaza Strip.
But I don't know enough to have an opinion on anything, so I just, you know what I'm saying, that's something that is too far past me to even understand. It ain't not too far past me. It's just like, it's a conflict that's been going on since before I was born, before a lot of the people was born. Like, it's a very old conflict, but very relevant. And RIP to anybody who's lost any type of life. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm a rock out.
The Gaza Strip is a Palestinian territory across the southern border of Israel. Since Israel's creation in 1948, it's been the scene of war and bloodshed on a massive scale.
Since I was a child,
Israel was created in 1948? I didn't know that. I thought it's... All right.
The Palestinian problem, it's all been sort of there in the background and never, never really understood it. Have no idea what to expect.
Exactly. Same.
In 2006, the people of Gaza shocked the world by electing Hamas as their rulers. Hamas are an Islamic resistance movement known in the West for their suicide bombings and their stated aim of destroying the state of Israel.
I would be a liar if I said we weren't slightly nervous about where we're going to end up today.
Since Hamas took power, Israel has effectively blockaded the whole of the Gaza Strip. Right now, this is the only entry point into Gaza, and it's one of the most heavily fortified border crossings in the world.
I ain't even finna play. I done pulled out my phone to make sure I gotta mark where these things are happening at, because blur.
Here we go, then.
Even though it's Rose Kemp, man, I never know.
Increasingly since Hamas were elected, armed militants from inside Gaza fire rockets and mortars into southern Israel in retaliation for the closing of borders and Israel's occupation of Palestinian land in the West Bank. In response, Israel has cleared a 1-mile buffer zone around the Strip. Getting into Gaza involves a half-mile walk through no man's land where the welcoming party will be a Hamas security checkpoint.
So these guys are probably checking for alcohol, which is obviously forbidden, pornography, which is forbidden. The irony is not lost that I'm being, searched by a member of a terrorist organisation. Normally, I think it's the other way around, that they're... Right, well, we've been given the all clear by Hamas. We're going to go into Gaza now, proper. This vehicle's been chosen on purpose because it's so low-key. As Westerners here, we are potential kidnap victims, so the more low-key you are, the less chance you have of...
How did I not see this? I don't recall it at all.
Being taken.
Thus far, at least.
The drive into Gaza City is like a drive into another world. Wherever I look, I see destruction.
Jeez.
The one thing that...
Oh my days. See, this what I be talking about though. When people be like, "Oh man, I'm living rough." Boy, you ain't felt nothing. You see this?
I'm not used to is seeing that amount of damage being done in such a highly populated area.
Look at these, all the bullet holes.
It's quite shocking.
In December 2008, after a 10-month ceasefire, Israel launched a massive military campaign in Gaza known as Operation Cast Lead. This attempt to crush Hamas and stop rocket attacks employed the full might of the Israeli army, including the controversial use of white phosphorus shells.
White phosphorus shells, what'd that do?
The conflict left 13 Israeli soldiers and over 1,300 Palestinians dead.
It's blurred, they got
Much
sheets
of
on
Gaza's infrastructure was targeted and destroyed, including 80 government buildings and over 200 schools. However, 8 months on, Hamas remain in power.
Right.
All that loss of life for nothing then, right? Is what it sounded like. Did all that, and 8 months later...
It's our first day in Gaza. We're outside one of the main police stations here.
I'm just reacting to
run
that.
and controlled by Hamas. They're very sensitive about us filming outside here. We've basically come here to find out how Hamas control and run the Gaza Strip. Merhaba. Merhaba.
50.
Welcome to Gaza.
A year after their election, Hamas brutally wiped out their rival party in Gaza, Fatah, torturing and killing many of their members and driving the rest underground. Hamas...
So my question is, why would they elect them? Did they, were promised false stuff and then all of this just happened and out of nowhere? Or did they know this was going to be a thing? What?
are now firmly in control, but it's widely reported they rule by fear.
Obviously, right? I feel like you can assume that, or somebody like me looking from the outside in with no real knowledge, just off the 6 minutes that I've got, that's a clean assumption.
So it looks like this is this roundabout here is where they're going to set up a checkpoint.
While Hamas might be seen as a terrorist organization abroad, here at home, They are the official police force on the streets.
And should you cross them, you are dealt with very severely.
Could you imagine anybody's police walking around with AK-47 strapped? That's a show of clean power. Of power.
Ahmed Swaydan is a commander in the Hamas police force.
Do you think things are better now, or are they worse in terms of law and order on the streets of Gaza?
Oh, whoa. Okay, hold on. I wasn't ready. Let me move around. Okay. Before we came along... Okay.
سابق ولم يسيطر علي أحد لا أجهزة أمنية ولا شرطة فلسطينية فالآن الحمد لله وبنعم الله من الله عز وجل أنه بعد سيطرة حكومة حماس على قطاع غزة وتم السيطرة بكل جدية في الأرض في الميدان والكل يوم يعمل حساب لهذه الحكومة.
In the short time that we've been here,
imagine getting a traffic ticket. Like, I'd be scared to get, I'd probably stay in the house.
some of the people we've spoken to have said that the police force here are too heavy-handed. Would you agree with that?
صحيح احنا بنستخدم القوة على المجرمين فقط لأنه احنا فرضنا سحب القوة لكن من أجل أنه نحمي البلد هذه.
Israel's military campaign to destroy Hamas seems to have done little to dent their power. Almost a year on from the war, the destruction it caused is everywhere to be seen. 60,000 houses were damaged or destroyed during the fighting, and today 20,000 people remain homeless. Now Israel, like Hamas, is facing a possible charge of committing war crimes.
We're actually going to meet some people who have moved back into what was their home. Assalamu alaikum.
Mohammed
Mr. Home?
Qadir's house was destroyed in Operation Cast Lead. His family, like many, are living in the rubble of what remains.
How do you feel about the Israeli people now?
أنا يعني اشتغلت 35 سنة بإسرائيل يعني طبعا يعني بصفة عامة يعني كنا احنا في قطاع غزة عمالها يعني الفطار نقعد مع بعض نفطر نتحدث نقوم مبسوطين كنا بننام عندهم يعني كنا محافظين على العيش والملح بس للأسف الشديد هم الإسرائيليين احنا مش ضد الشعب الإسرائيلي احنا ضد الحكومة الإسرائيلية.
You don't dislike Israelis, you just dislike the government.
أنا يعني بسأل نفسي ليش إسرائيل سوت في هيك أنا لا أنا مقاوم ولا أنا أي شيء. أنا يعني بسأل نفسي ليش إسرائيل سوت في هيك أنا لا أنا مقاوم ولا أنا أي شيء. أنت يا إسرائيل أنت ما انتصرت على أي شيء يا إسرائيل. أنت لا انتصرت على حماس ولا انتصرت على مقاومة ولا انتصرت على أي شيء. بتعتبر هذا انتصار؟
Isn't this kind of like what happened? Like, this is kind of what Adolf did. Like that strike, that one strike over Britain when he or was that Britain? Yeah, right. We just watched something about. It's a similar war tactic. It's a crazy tactic though, like to involve like innocents, like.
بتعتبر إسرائيل إنك أنت انتصرت على بيتي؟ لا.
Israel stated they targeted this neighborhood of Abed Rabu because it was being used as a hideout for militant fighters and a launching area for terrorist rockets. If I was going to understand the situation, I needed to meet the militants who are still firing rockets despite the Israeli response and find out what good they think they're doing for the people of Gaza.
Right.
We've let it be known that we want to talk to a militant faction. Days have gone by with no response.
Not
But when we
surprised.
finally hear that a fundamentalist group is prepared to meet us, I must be honest and say, I have mixed feelings. There are questions I want to ask them, but we also run the risk of handing them a propaganda opportunity.
Yeah, man, that kidnap is crazy. That's a crazy feeling, man. In the name of journalism, I think not. Not me, at least. That's why you rose Kemp, and I'm the lit one. I'm watching from the seated comfort of my home. You was outside.
So Since 2008, 1,750 rockets have been launched from Gaza into Israel. One of the groups responsible for those launches is the Islamic Jihad. We're on our way to meet them and ask them why they're still determined to send rockets into Israel, despite the fact that the response from Israel was so extreme.
I'm on my way to meet Islamic Jihad, a militant faction responsible for hundreds of rocket and mortar attacks into Israel. They also claim responsibility for over 30 suicide bombings.
With no
Sound like they ain't ducking no smoke is what I'm hearing in my ears. Is what like if I was really like taking this in and trying to relay it to somebody, that's how I would say hit somebody like from a area that talk like I talk. Like, look, man, they boom, 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 and they ain't ducking no smoke.
idea exactly where we're going. And when we get there, we're meeting up with the Al-Quds Brigade, that is the military wing of Islamic Jihad.
Our fixer has arranged to meet a contact at a halfway point on the outskirts of Gaza City. We are instructed to remove the batteries from our phones in case we're being tracked by Israeli intelligence.
Necessary precaution, right?
Moment, they tell us very clearly to turn the camera off.
Don't shoot the outside of the building, mate.
Be very careful, Andy. Be very
Andy,
careful.
put it down.
After an hour of waiting, we are finally given the all clear.
Vehicles turn up on the other side of the road. We're following a white Jeep.
Bro, Rose don't even be looking nervous. He's just chilling in the back with his arms folded. Now he's attentive to what's going on. He ain't lacking as far as visually, but
We have no idea where we're going. It seems like we're heading towards the border with Israel, giving the people we're hoping to meet, the closer we get, the more dangerous it becomes.
So we are perilously close to the border right now, and if these guys are seen or noticed by the Israelis, then probably all hell will let loose. Right, here we go.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
so this is the military piece. This is the military.
You've got guys here, relatively very, very heavily armed. So you've got RPG to my left, variant AK-47s. You've got a guy with a sniper rifle there.
مجاهدين تحركوا مجاهدين.
Guys, a question. If you make rocket attacks onto Israel, aren't these people vulnerable from the retaliation?
نحن نكون دائما قدر الإمكان في هذه الحالة أن نبعد عن المواطنين. قدر الإمكان أن نبعد عن المواطنين حتى لا نؤذي المواطنين.
I find it hard to believe that in an area as built up as Gaza, that these militants could ever guarantee the safety of the civilians around them. And yet,
No, but it sounded good.
they claim that support for their cause is growing.
Since January and the Israeli operation, have more people wanted to join your organization as a result of what happened?
صحيح. المواطنين عندما رأوا قوة وشراسة مجاهدين سرايا القدس في المنطقة في الاجتياح الأخير أو في الحرب الأخيرة، جاء لي أحد الآباء وقال لي أنا أريد ابني استشهادي معكم. أريد أن أبعثه استشهادي معكم.
On that subject, your organization
Like his only son or first son, but that's wild.
has been responsible for some 30 suicide attacks in Israel. Is that correct?
بالنسبة لعمليات سرايا القدس في داخل إسرائيل، عمليات كثيرة وجميلة وشديدة على الشعب الإسرائيلي، والأكثر قتلى في الشعب الإسرائيلي، وهو عملية بيت ليد، عملية الشهيد الاستشهادي أنور سكر، وعملية الشهيد الاستشهادي صلاح شاكر، عندما الشهيد الثاني وهو صلاح شاكر فجر نفسه بعد الشهيد الأول أنور سكر ب3 دقائق. العملية قتلت أكثر من 30 خنزير إسرائيلي وأكثر من 200 إصابة تقريبا.
Do you see in the near future any sign of negotiation happening between any of your organizations and anyone in the state of Israel?
لا نفكر في أي شيء من المفاوضات مع الإسرائيليين ولا نتلح.
And that I'm only hearing one side, but that alone signifies why this will never end, because nobody wants to negotiate with anybody. It's their way, it's one side's way or nothing at all. From both sides. There's no middle ground.
أجري ولا حكومة ولا حكومات ولا انتخابات. لا نعتبر عملنا إلا جهادا في سبيل الله واستشهادا في سبيل الله.
How do you feel the elected government is doing at the moment in Gaza?
Okay.
No questions about Hamas government. No questions about Hamas.
Okay, understood. What's going on?
Okay, you can film in there. You can go closely.
Something going on. They got a map out.
طبعا موجود زي ما انتم شايفين عندنا هان منطقة زراعية. احنا موجودين هاي الشارع العام، احنا موجودين في المنطقة الشارع الفرعي التحتاني. حيكون في عندنا دروع، حيكون في عندنا قناص.
They're practicing. They're going to show us what they're doing. Yes.
So you've got Ross on it. Not practicing. It's actual work that they see the maps and now they have to go to act. For example, now they will go to plant the bombs, the small bombs, but have a good effect.
Oh, so this is like a walkthrough. Rose Kemp talking about they practicing. No, they walking through. They finna do this. That's okay.
And even you can go and see this process when they go to plant the bombs.
This is a real bomb?
A real bomb, sure.
Just wait.
That's it?
I'm really not sure how well this sits with me, but we've actually been invited to go along with them and see them plant an IED.
You gotta handle that with care. You slamming it on
So that is a substantial size bomb there. They're going to show us exactly what they do. Very often Israeli special forces will come ashore in this region and obviously they lay booby traps for them, and they're just about to show us how they place those booby traps, known as improvised explosive devices.
No, stop.
So they'll plant this now and monitor it all night. There's a command wire that the guy in front has got. And obviously, should they see anybody coming in from the sea, no doubt they will attempt to detonate it.
From the sea?
Having been to other places in the world and seen people blown up. I'm not entirely happy at all about being here and witnessing this and even putting it on camera, but unfortunately this is a brutal fact of what goes on here.
The Al-Quds Brigade told us they were moving north towards the Israeli border, and our lights and camera were allowed no further. These militant fighters are in the minority in Gaza, and yet their doctrine seems to set the agenda. The war with Israel in January seems only to have strengthened their resolve.
It's not the first time that I've met young men who are prepared to kill, but it's one of the...
Is somebody watching this ready to sum up everything for me? And not sum up this video, but you really can't sum up the conflict over there, but and you really can't get it all from one person, because anybody's summary is going to be pretty one-sided. It's going to favor a side. I don't support the unaliving of any innocent or civilians, or like, I know war's war, but when it becomes like civilians getting, like, I don't rock with that. I'm sure a lot of people don't either. Like, that's too much. Especially like children.
Times I've ever met young men with guns who are prepared to die for what they believe in, and from what I could see.
And that's crazy because a lot of my generation and younger don't know. They don't know what's going on. Even like higher, they really don't.
See, they were.
And this is very much still relevant. Like, obviously, we know that this is going on though, but we don't know the full story. We just we boycotting Disney and Coca-Cola or whoever, and we just standing on that, but we don't really know what's really happening, most of us. So this is good for me. It's good for me, at least.
The first times I've ever met young men with guns who are prepared to die for what they believe in, and from what I could see, they were totally committed, and they have something more than a gang member will ever have, because they have what they believe is God on their side.
Yeah. It's different when you thinking you moving for God and you positive about it. Like, that hit different.
The next morning, Islamic Jihad informed us that the IED had been removed and there were no reports of any explosions or casualties. Militant groups like Islamic Jihad are determined to keep firing their rockets into Israel until the Jewish state is destroyed. In response, Israel hasn't just launched military attacks, it's also closed Gaza's borders, sealing it off from the outside world and effectively shutting down its legitimate economy. To see what effect this has had, I've come to the border crossing at Karni.
Wait.
Militant groups like Islamic Jihad are determined to keep firing their rockets into Israel until the Jewish state is destroyed. In response, Israel hasn't just launched military attacks, it's also closed Gaza's borders, sealing it off from the outside world and effectively shutting down its legitimate economy. To see what effect...
So basically it is, you got what you got and what you can come up with. Nothing's going in, nothing's going out.
This has had, I've come to the border crossing at Karni, until recently the busiest import and export point in the Gaza Strip.
Well, this is the gate at the Karni. Over there is Israel. 1,800 trucks used to pass through these gates every day, making millions of pounds on either side of the border for both Palestinians and Israelis.
When Hamas seized power, Israel closed the Karni crossing, and this industrial park it serviced is all but deserted. Wadia El Masri is the manager of the Karni industrial zone, and his business has almost ground to a halt.
But it's empty, isn't it?
Completely. I mean, usually at the good times, 6,000 people, workers,
If you say there were 6,000 here, the people that were being satellited off that would be another 4,000.
Yes.
So maybe 10,000 people have lost their jobs.
10,000 people, and each one has a family of 10 persons. So you're talking about 100,000 people have been laid off.
Laid off, yeah.
Yes.
Despite this, Wadia doesn't blame Israel for what has happened to him and his workers.
Israel has the right to live in peace and security. We have the right to, right? But who gives the excuse to these people to kill us? It's us. It is us. Sending bottles, I call them bottles, I don't call them rockets, This gives the excuse to Israelis to retaliate,
And I've heard that. I've heard that. A lot of it. I've heard people say it's just a response. They did this, so we're just responding. Continue.
Come and bombard us and made the picture as if two superpowers are fighting. And I'm telling you, 90% of the Palestinians here are willing to shake hands with Israelis.
90%.
I've heard that as well.
Even more. The sad thing that both sides here and there. Those who rule, they've got their own agenda, you know?
With the factories and border crossings closed, I want to find out how Gazans are surviving and putting food on their tables. The blockade has created massive shortages of building materials, medicines, and certain foods. And yet, somehow, life goes on.
And it's not even regular war. This is religious war, like, based on, like, it. I'm telling you, when you feel like you're fighting for God, it's different. It's different. Because you feel like you're right no matter what.
This is downtown Gaza City, actually, on not a busy day. And, you know, if you knew that this place was under siege, you wouldn't think...
But I'm pretty sure, like, if you read the entirety of the Bible, or wherever you're reading from, like, this ain't salutable, this ain't godly, none of it is. You know, innocents are losing life, children are losing life. A lot of people take what's in the Bible out of context. They only read a piece of it and leave the whole rest of it like it's not even there. They just take one little line and like they run with it. That ain't it.
Thinking by looking around me, you know, testament to the Palestinians that life goes on.
What's them? I heard them was good. I seen these before.
Oh yeah? How are you? Where'd you get your fruit from? Is it more expensive now than it was a year ago? How much more?
كان بناخذها ب40 هنا بنبيعها رطب 100 يعني فيش مجال. والله عشان سعيد
In terms of the future, do you think things are going to get worse for you as a grocer or better?
أما أتمنى من الله إن شاء الله يكون أصلح من هيك، لأنه وضع صعب للأمانة جدا، صعب جدا.
The markets might be full of people and goods, but prices are high, and most people rely on UN handouts. But prices are high, and most people rely...
Listen, I know we're here for, like, respect first and foremost, ma'am. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This woman is beautiful.
On UN handouts. Like elsewhere in Gaza, there's more going on than meets the eye.
اليوم البضائع بنجيبها على الأنفاق، معظم البضائع بنجيبها على الأنفاق. بيجي من إسرائيل بامبرز الأطفال، الحليب، ألبان، أجبان.
Nappies, milk, yogurt, cheese, and fruit. So dairy, fruit, and nappies are diapers. That's important.
فواكه. غير بعد الإغلاق والحصار اللي تعرضنا له كله بيجيبوا على أنفاق. سعر مرتفع. ارتفعت الأسعار بنسبة 200% بعد دخولها على أنفاق.
We talking food.
From where?
طريق Egypt, مصر.
From Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they're from Halifax.
Quality Streets. Okay, they got the UK candies in there.
What about this?
Egypt.
Egypt.
Yeah.
All the kind of things, the treats.
To keep his store in profit,
Snickers be good.
this shopkeeper has to smuggle more than 90% of his goods in from Egypt.
Business is business.
Business is business. ربطنا الزلمة.
We set off for the southern town of Rafah, rumored to be the capital of the black market.
Bro, I got so many friends, bro, like from so many different places. Like growing up in Chicago, like everybody's literally there, and it's like one of those. Chicago's like a safe haven state or whatever. So there's a lot of. I'm talking. It's not a thing that I haven't met. Like not. That sounds crazy. It's not a group of people that I've never met. Like, and I love it. And we all humans. I'm rocking with everybody.
In the Gaza Strip. As we approach the closed border with Egypt, we come across what looks like a large encampment of tents and tarpaulins. we have in fact driven straight into the heart of the smuggling operation in Gaza.
Hold on, crazy how this pretty much all stems from Britain's imperial past. And when the British Balfour Declaration was introduced in 1917, what a tragedy, really. Britain announced its support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. Ever since then, there has been war against Palestinians, Israelis off the back of it, and it's still going on to this day. That's my understanding of it anyway. Okay. 1970. Yeah, I ain't never heard that. Low-key, Britain be at the root of a lot of stuff. Oh, man.
I've come down to Rafah in the south of the Gaza Strip to see for myself how goods and supplies are smuggled under the border with Egypt.
Assalamu alaikum.
When he said under, I didn't think he really meant under. That's coming from out the ground. It's a little tunnel.
This is Gaura. Gaura?
What's that?
Coffee, yeah?
Oh, coffee.
Nescafe. Nescafe.
Very necessary.
And there's coffee there and I can see chewing gum.
In my experience, smuggling is a secretive business, but this is anything but. Beneath
They look like they're doing this out in the open.
each of these tarpaulins is the entrance to a tunnel that burrows under the Egyptian border and surfaces just 200 meters away. There is
very
nothing
far.
secretive
Not
about
a
what is
secret.
happening here.
In the open. Trying to eat.
Local people told me that every smuggler pays a tax to Hamas to keep their tunnel open. If that's true, then this is state-sanctioned smuggling and would explain the presence of Hamas security officers. We've arranged to meet with Ahmed Youssef, the Deputy Foreign Minister of the Hamas government.
Oh man. You don't see many black Mercedes around here, so I'm guessing this is our man.
But how did I not see this? This is crazy. I felt like I watched every single episode of Rose Kemp, and then this one just pops up out of nowhere.
I speaking you.
I just can't believe how many tunnels. How many tunnels do you think are here?
It's more than 1,200, and you don't know how much these things expanded every day, because it depends on the needs of the market. It's become like a business.
Do Hamas control the tunnels?
No, Hamas has no control on any of these tunnels. Hamas just try to monitoring the goods to make sure that nobody smuggling drugs or anything can hurt the people of Gaza.
Can arms come through here, ammunition?
I have no idea. I have no idea about the arms, but I don't know.
These tunnels are far from safe. On average, 3 tunnel workers are killed each week.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if these are collapsing, right?
Either by attacks by Israel or Egypt, or more commonly, by the roofs collapsing.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go down?
I'm gonna go down, yes. Have a look.
You have enough courage to go down?
You finna step in the tunnel? Ain't no rebar or nothing.
I hope so.
But this is something you will never forget.
God, that was...
Okay.
Hold on, wait.
There you go.
Wait a minute now. What is that, a safety line?
Bit odd. Right. I just hope it's Kemp proof, because I weigh considerably more than the young man that just went down. Okay. Oh, that was a bit scary. As you can see...
That is deep. I ain't gonna cap. That's way deeper than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a little 7 feet, then boom. Let's make this 90-degree turn and head to where we need to go.
I'm going down some way now. It's good. Oh, hang on. Oh, fuck, hang on. Whoa, 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 whoa.
What happened? What happened?
Whoa, 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 that was close. Fuck me. Right. Not exactly your executive lift, but here I am. Hey. Thank you.
No, don't thank me.
So,
is that a flower on there? What?
That was exciting. Nearly came off halfway down. There you go. So this is the tunnel.
The workers in this tunnel don't want to be identified. They're working 12-hour shifts for just $25 a day.
12? They might as well go to jail. Nah, that's better than jail. But like, dang, bro, boy, like, ain't no like cautionary, like this is a dangerous job. I should be getting a little bit more than 25. But I'm probably sure that there's a line around the corner to do this job, so it's probably.
These things have just been pointed out, the telltale signs of a fall. When it starts cracking like this, and it's cracked all the way here, you can see, I don't want to push it too hard, but all this now is cracking, and the guy has just been explaining to me that that's the first sign of collapse.
I know something just ain't.
The further into the tunnel I go, it gets hotter, narrower, and lower. The cracks are literally starting to show.
Nah, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. Rose, like, I really salute you. You do a lot of work in the trenches out here. Like, when I say trenches, I mean real life trenches. You are in. It, like, I don't know. This is beyond a trench. This is an underground hole. Bro, was in an underground railway. Like, chill. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but this is insane. Do we not care about our life?
Just how basic and dangerous these tunnels are is about to become apparent as I round the next corner.
Right, we're right at the face now where this guy is digging away. And he's not the only one doing this. There are hundreds of people doing this as we speak, trying to forge another way into Egypt to get goods back into Gaza. But the simple fact is that these young men risk their lives every day for $25 a day, and often many of them die in the collapses. And unfortunately, this is also part and parcel of everyday life for some Gazans.
I'm not even gonna lie. That is a lot to process. I ain't like we only see the initial, like, oh, there's a war going on. Yes, that is deep, but this is crazy too. Like, this is the effects of the war. Like, this is wild.
Well, as you can see from me, it's very hot down there. We had a little collapse while I was waiting to come up, and you could see the panic.
What you mean?
Panic on the guys' faces. They all ran down there. Luckily, it was only a very small one, and I, for one, didn't go down to check it out. I waited near the so-called lift or ladder.
Talk to him, saying that's what I wouldn't have went down there, but if I did go down there, hypothetically speaking, that's where I would have been waiting.
But that was an incredible experience, actually, and to think that those guys are doing that every day, 24/7.
Seeing that young man risk his life and scrabble in the dirt for $25 a day makes me realize the lengths people are going to put food in their stomachs.
This don't even look real.
The combination of the borders being closed,
but the saddest thing about it is it's very real,
and the massive destruction of homes and infrastructure is bringing the people of Gaza to their knees. It's also put the United Nations aid effort in Gaza under enormous pressure. John Ging heads up the UN mission here and is a rare and outspoken critic of extremism on both sides.
John, can you sort of explain to me what happened here, both sides?
Yeah, as you can see, this is the industrial area. That was the biscuit factory here. And then down along on this side, you have the cement factory just over the brow of the hill. And remember that the announcement was that this whole war was about destroying the infrastructure of terror. When you look around the Gaza Strip and you see what infrastructure has been destroyed, then you realize very quickly that that was not the infrastructure of terror, it's the infrastructure of the economy. You'll see schools destroyed, that's the infrastructure of education. You'll see ministry buildings like the Foreign Ministry, the Finance Ministry, the President's compound. This is the infrastructure of peace. You need these ministries to have a state. The Parliament building, that's the infrastructure of democracy. And then you have the tunnels, which are still operating.
The effective black market, the thing that undermines society.
Correct. Society here, in every aspect of its functioning, is being broken down.
Do you think that all of that was done purely and simply because of an election result? Or is there another agenda?
Well, these are the questions that have to be asked. How could you do this and then believe that that is positive in terms of the process of getting stability, security, and peace in the Middle East? It's very difficult to figure out what is the truth until you come. And when you come here, then it's actually crystal clear. And it doesn't mean that you become anti-Israeli or pro-Palestinian or pro-Israel and anti-Palestinian. It means that you see the truth.
What about in terms of your job? How much harder has your job become?
My job is exponentially harder as a result of this. Why? Because of the impact on two things: the mindsets of the people. There's more extremism in Gaza than there was before this round of conflict, born of the frustrations, the despair, the poverty, and so on. And also the humanitarian situation is massively bigger. All those people who had jobs and so on and so forth, they're now queuing at our centres for food. I have not got more money. I have to spread it out thinner.
You're asking people not to retaliate, but of course, when people are hungry, they become angry.
Well, this is it. You treat people as hostile, then they will become hostile.
It's a fact.
We're in conflict with extremism. Let's be absolutely clear about that. There is a battle going on here at the grassroots level. Half of the population of Gaza are kids. Whether we're going to win that battle in terms of shaping how they think, their values and their behaviour, will be determined by the environment, ultimately, that they're growing up in. And I have to say very clearly, we're putting up a fight, but we must be clear, we're losing that fight at the moment.
John's was a bleak message about the future in Gaza, and I was struck by his conviction that extremism was on the rise. And I was about to find out for myself just how early that extremism can begin.
I don't know why. This is not even a comparable thing, but I'm going to tell you, like, people in Chicago and all around America are joining gangs at 10. So, you know what I'm saying? So, and that's because why is that? It's a family thing. It's a family thing. It's passed down from generation to generation. So I'm not surprised that whatever age you about to say, I won't be surprised, because they fighting for something way deeper that's passed down. So I'm not surprised.
I'm nearing the end of my time in Gaza, and what struck me the most is that here, the extraordinary becomes the ordinary.
Everywhere you go in Gaza, you see murals like this depicting Arab fighters fighting Israel. There are also, nearly at every roundabout, there is a martyr posted on a wall. Some of them even light up at night. You know, you don't see pictures of footballers, you don't see pictures of sporting heroes. You see martyrs or graffiti urging jihad. And what you see a lot are young boys, very young boys. There's one behind me right now who's got a plastic gun in his hand. And you don't see kids kicking footballs around. You see them playing shooting games. You don't have to be a professional psychologist to work out, with all those images coming into you day in, day out, it's going to have a profound effect on you when you grow up.
Death in Gaza is so commonplace.
Bro drinking a Fanta, that's a good choice.
It has quite literally become a way of life. I want to find...
And that, it's easy to understand when it's this. That what you see is what you give. This is all I see every day when I walk out the door. So this is not surprising. It shouldn't be surprising that this is all these kids see. So of course they're going to mimic it, replicate it, and be it when they grow up. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like some people are oblivious to the fact in the States or in UK or anywhere, impoverished areas, that there's any type of real poverty or necessity to survive. But anyway, let's focus on this.
Find out what effect so much war and violence is having on the youngest generation. So I've come to a psychiatric clinic to meet some of the children in its care.
Sabah el khair. So guys, what's it like living in Gaza? What's it like to live here?
قصدي بعرفش.
انت كيف تعرف؟
قصدي بعرفش.
لا
بعرفش انا بعترف فيها.
Well, why does he not accept Gaza?
ليش طيب؟
عشان زي خرا كلها.
Do you think it's dangerous living here?
كيف؟
من الاحتلال.
Does it scare you?
Who's talking?
أنا من ناحيتي بخافش بس في صغار بخاف.
وانا نستشهد احسن شيء واحد يستشهد يخش الجنة.
He's saying he'd rather be a martyr.
Yeah, rather than to live here in Gaza, to get rid of the fear.
لسه احسن بروح الجنة بروح عند الله كتب له بكتب له.
Go to paradise, it's better to go to God.
Does everybody believe that?
معاني في الرأي.
That's a religious thing, right?
ممكن الواحد يدخل الجنة متزكي على واحد.
Yeah, that's a religious thing. It's got nothing to say.
يدخل الجنة يلقى نعيم أحسن ما يلقى هين شيء.
This boy here, very quiet. This boy here.
اسمه أحمد. أحمد.
Why are you so quiet?
أخو سيدي وستي خالي وأختي وسيدي وستي.
Who did this?
Yeah, bro, like 7. He done been through it all.
مين عمل هيك يا أحمد؟
يهود.
شو؟
Thank you very much for talking to me.
We're about to stop filming when a young girl who has been silent raises her hand and says she has something she wants to say.
هم كتير بدهم خلينا
احنا بدناش نعمل سلام مع اليهود لانه اليهود هم يعني خلوا امي وابوي يستشهدوا، يعني قطعوا قلبي لما شفت امي وابويا قاعدين بيستشهدوا قدامي، وامي راح نص راسها وابويا يعني راسه طلع عقله من راسه وتصاب بخصرته وتصاب برجله. بعد هيك يعني كله أخويا صلاح قال يلا امشي نطلع برا. أنا تمتني حاسة حالي لقيت بقفص لأنه أنا أمي وأبويا مش عندي.
Dang.
I wonder how anyone could heal the despair and pain that these children feel, and how hard it will be to stop some of them wanting to take some kind of revenge.
These kids got the craziest origin stories at 7. Of course they're gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Like, look what they've seen at 7. That's at 7. That's the only thing that's gonna be on you, imprinted on your mind forever. And they're actually at it like they're trying to get help at this place, but like that's too deep. You see what Shorty said? She's seen this with her eyes.
It's our last day in Gaza, but as we head to the border, we receive a call from a military faction called the Al Nasser Brigade.
They are the military wing of the Popular Resistance Committee. They requested a meeting with us. They're one of the many factional groups that exist here in Gaza. We have no idea what they want to say to us. We do know they were formed in 2000. We do know that they are made up of ex-members of Hamas and Fatah. They've claimed...
That's apple juice. You know the apple juice that be coming in a glass bottle? That's what that is.
responsibilities for bombings in Israel. Apart from that, we have no idea what they want to say to us or what they want to show us. You know, they could be using us quite simply to up their propaganda. On the other hand, they could be luring us into a trap.
Hope not.
Camera down this time, please. The two guys turn up in beers, in black, in combats. They're both carrying AK-47s. They look very serious, I have to say. They're taking us apparently on a big detour, we've just been told, and that's to obscure their location. I mean, we've told us not to film, but I don't think it makes much difference because, you know, we're listening to what? We're stopping, so... Okay, we've been given the go-ahead. Right, we're at the location. I can see some guys up in front, some masked. There's a guy with an RPG. Gonna walk towards them now, let's see what happens. Salam. Salam alaikum. Salam. Come here.
Bro, I know your heart beating, Rose. Ain't no way you standing here like.
The leader insists we move away from the vehicle towards a covered area in the orchard.
Why? Why are you taking me out to the orchard?
وين الشاب المترجم؟
This is the Martha.
I now realize that I'm face to face with a suicide bomber.
TNT.
Right. Okay. And that's the switch.
Oh.
It's active or what?
يعني بدي يصور المسج تبعته.
It's become clear that we have been brought here to witness the recording of a martyrdom video.
أنا الشهيد الحي بإذن الله.
No, hold on. No, we in the way. My fault. Oh, we're not in the way. Okay.
هذا العمل ابتغاء وجهة مرضاة الله ومن أجل الوطن، وراحت نص عائلتي في هذه الحرب الظالمة على الشعب الأعزل الذي لم يرحم فيها أي طفل ولا شيخ ولا مرأة، وأنا جاهز بإذن الله لأي يقوم بهذا العمل الاستشهادي، وأنا تحت أمر القيادة بإذن الله في أي عمل يقوم على الحدود أو في أي العدو بإذن الله.
Can I ask a question? Yes. Can you tell me how old you are?
24 مخلص جامعة، أنا طالب جامعة مخلص بإذن الله.
Can you tell me what degree you received at university?
حقوق. كلية حقوق. كلية الحقوق.
You finished in law. By the act that you're going to carry out, you feel that you will avenge the people in your family that were killed in January, is that correct?
بإذن الله صحيح.
Do you think that by killing other people, that will increase the amount of violence that will happen? Or do you think that will in some way stop violence?
إنهم يعتدون على الوطن الحبيب وطني، فأنا يجب أن أدافع عنه بأي شيء وحتى لو كانت بروحي.
Do you feel that this is the only alternative for you now?
الإسلام بحث على أن نجاهد من أجل الوطن ومن أجل الله.
Have you ever met an Israeli? Talked to an Israeli? Do you know that there are Israelis out there, some, that don't want to fight anymore, that they want peace? Do you know that?
أنا مع السلام بإذن الله لأنه يحتلون وطني، فإن الحرب هي التي تولد حرب والسلام يولد سلام.
was peak. I'm not even gonna lie. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm wild. I'm wild at what I was seeing, but I'm also wild at what I was hearing. Cause it's like I'm here. Hey, bro, war brings war, peace brings peace. That is not wrong at all. He is so correct. But I don't morally. That's too much. Like there's a lot going on. I'm just going, I'm really more shocked than anything.
We never came here expecting to come up with a...
Chill, Rose. Let me talk. This got to be the most shocking one that I've seen of Rose Kemp. Like, I'm trying to think. It's got to be. I know. Every time he out here, though, I be shocked. But this,
any answers.
I'm hearing too much.
I certainly didn't have any views I wish to have reaffirmed. But I defy anyone to come here without an agenda and not feel genuine sympathy for the ordinary people living here.
Yes, and that's where my heart lays. Like, what about the ordinary, regular people that don't want nothing to do with nothing? They just want to get peace.
Hundreds of Israelis have been
and
killed.
It's just taken strays
by suicide bombers, and they certainly have the right to defend themselves. But the economic blockade has not only damaged business, it's denied people their dignity. If you deny someone the right to provide for their family, then they will find pride in other things. When a young lawyer decides to become a suicide bomber, I have to say I have real fear for the future.
Exactly. You don't even, like, I was like, bro, you a lawyer? Like, that was deep. Bro was a lawyer. He went to university to study to be a lawyer, and he was like, nah.
That said, most people want to live in peace with their families on both sides. And I'm sure they don't want to live with the daily fear of being rocketed or blown up. As we leave Gaza, the one thing I'm absolutely sure about, though, is that the people of Gaza aren't going anywhere, and neither are the people of Israel.
In the next part of this Middle East report...
No next. TLO, leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification. Hey, really, in the comments, y'all, let me see it, man. I'm reading all comments. I might reply to all comments to this video, but I'm reading them all. I might reply to them all. 100%.